Alright, welcome on in to anyone joining now or later. This is Arcade Paradise, Part 12. This has been a much longer running series than I thought it would be, honestly. But I enjoy the game. It's fun. It's chill. And I like talking to you guys. So having like a chill game is perfect for that. Rather than something like Resident Evil 2. Or sometimes that shit be stressful. Sometimes that shit require focus. This one really doesn't. Alright. Okay, so anyone who's been here for a little bit knows that I have 2 TikTok channels, and I will sit there and post in a comment all my different socials. They're not links, they are just my username, so you'll, for the most part, it's the same as my YouTube, so it'll be easy. But you can sit there and follow me on those platforms to, you know, get news, see additional stuff, you know. But on my alternate TikTok, Emunation Games, I've been buying and reviewing budget emulation devices. Well, I just bought one that it hasn't come in yet, excuse me. But it is an emulation device built within a projector, which is really cool. I look forward to that coming in. That would probably be the most unique device I will be reviewing, because all the others are like, oh, it's a handheld modeled after the fucking PSP, the Switch, or with its own design, or even modeled after the Game Boy Advance SP. But this one's built within a projector. This one is entirely unique. Yeah, we're probably not doing any of those today. But I really look forward to this one, because, you know, I've never had a projector before, so that will be a different experience. On top of it being a built-in emulation device, that's gonna be pretty cool. I wonder what its UI is gonna be like, because I've seen some videos on it, but I don't remember any of them. You know what I mean? Because I see so many videos on emulation devices. So I don't know what its UI is going to be like, what all it can do. Hopefully it can do things like YouTube and stuff like that. If so, I might keep it. Honestly, I might keep it anyway, but I also posted a review of another emulation device, the Powkitty RGB30, which is really nice. I actually really like it. I'm not sure if I'll keep it though. I might, but there's a few of them that I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to keep this, you know, especially with the budget Ambernic devices specifically, because like the Ambernic RG28XX, the Ambernic RG35XX-V, I believe, which I haven't even bought that one, but I know it's similar to the others. The Ambernic RG35XXH, the Ambernic RG40, you know, all these have the same UI, and most of them have the same games, and most of them have either similar or freaking the same hardware. So it's, to me, It's like, why would I keep all of them? You know, I they're fun, but when you have all of these devices and they're almost all the same, you know, there's no point in keeping all of them. I do know that I'm keeping the Trim UI Smart Pro. That I have a lot of fun with that. I think I'll keep the Ambernic, the Pow Kitty RGB30 because of its UI. I really like it, and the fact that whenever you're in the home menu, it'll cycle between different tracks from video games, like the Super Mario's theme, the Mortal Kombat theme, the Tetris. It just cycles through a bunch of different tracks, and I love that. You know, that's hella entertaining. I'm right now. The next device I'm going to be reviewing is the Ambernic RG40XXH, which I will be honest, so far, well, its UI is almost, well, it is the same UI, just with a few extra settings because it has RGB in it, which, you know, gamers, they love RGB, including me. Hell, my Nintendo Switch controllers that I use have built-in RGB. But it allows you to control what color you have it and stuff like that, and I do like that, because the Trim UI, it doesn't allow you to pick the color. It cycles between colors, which I'll be honest, I would have actually really liked if the Ambernic RG40XXH gave you the option of having it cycle between colors, or leaving it one color. I wish this thing would actually let me control my own jumps. Fuck. Ooh. Nearly died there. But I'll be honest, I have been having a lot of fun with some of these devices. Some of them, you know, I've had more fun than I thought I would, like. And some of them I was surprised at how I was like, I don't like this one as much as I liked X1, you know? There was an element of surprise to which ones I wound up liking and which ones I didn't. Like, for example, I was not expecting to like the Trim UI Smart Pro as much as I did. And it might be because of how well it handled PSP. I'll be completely honest. Because a lot of the emulation devices, they don't handle PSP very well. Well, on the budget end of things. You know, because a lot of these budget devices, they don't do PSP very well. But the Trim UI handled it perfectly, like a pro. Like, I was able to play Vice City Stories, little to no stutter at all. And it's the same with the Pow Kitty RGB30, but it wasn't the PSP performance that wound up making me like it. but it helps. It helps, you know what I mean? But of course, if you want to hear my full thoughts, the negatives, the positives of the system, definitely check out their review. It's like an 8-minute video on TikTok, so it is a little longer than a normal TikTok. Could I condense it? I probably could, but I feel like if I were to condense it, you wouldn't hear, you wouldn't get as good a review. I do apologize if I sound stuffy. It's because I am. I've been stuffy for the past few days and it sucks, but you're kidding me. You're not gonna go through... Fine, fuck you. What? That's crazy. So it was acting like solid, but there was nothing there. Fuck. I realize I'm kind of wasting oxygen, but being that I have all the upgrades, I'm just, you know, having fun with it. But going back to some of these emulation devices, one thing I'm not looking forward to is just how many devices I'm gonna be using. I mean, I do like it, but at the same time, it's like, this is a lot. This feels like too much for one person. Even from someone who loves collecting things like this. That's crazy when I love collecting this stuff, and I feel like it's too much. Like, at the moment, I have 15 different devices in my cart. And that's just in my cart. You know, this is what I have intentions on reviewing, not what I already have. Like, okay, give me a sec. I'm gonna count how many I have, and this will include my personal ones. Okay. I have 10 emulation devices at the moment. And there is one that I bought with the intentions of reviewing as an emulation device, but then it came in the mail and I realized it wasn't an actual emulation device, but it is a miniature game system. It's literally, it's like the size of your thumbprint, which I thought it was like super cool. I thought it emulated like Atari and that was it. Which they could have done that. That would have been really cool, but it doesn't. It has its own games installed and stuff like that. Which, to be fair, is hella cool. Like, being that it might be something I review on my channel, like my main channel, but definitely doesn't qualify for the review that I planned for it, or planned to do with it, because I didn't plan the review. Ah, damn. But you know, having this many devices, it feels like a lot. And to be fair, it is a lot. 10 emulation devices that almost all do the same thing and emulate the same things is a lot. And I don't think anyone would argue that it isn't. If you think like 10 emulation devices with thousands of games already installed, a lot of them are the same games installed. If you think that isn't a lot, I don't even know what that would say about you. Like, if someone said, oh yeah, I have 10 game consoles, each with 20,000 games, I feel like I need more. I'd probably look at them wide-eyed, be like, what the fuck? You know, I think my first question would be, do you have any repeats in the games? Oh yeah, they're pretty much all the same. Dog. Like, I get, as someone who likes collecting, I get having multiple copies of the same game if you really enjoy that game or that series. Like, that's the reason I have so many copies of RE4 and Revelations, is because I love Resident Evil and I love Revelations. You know, Revelations specifically is my favorite in the series, and I know that is not exactly a popular take, and it's not even I'm saying it's the best in the series, because, like, objectively speaking, it doesn't really do anything special aside from having a full-fledged Resident Evil on a handheld, because Revelations was made specifically for a handheld, the 3DS actually. But you know, aside from that, it doesn't really do anything original or special. I mean, it tried to balance horror and action, which was kind of new for Resident Evil at the time, because at the time Resident Evil was just action, action, action. RE4, RE5, RE6, they were all full-fledged, full-blown action games, and Revelations was like, okay, let's go to the isolated horror. You know, you're on a cruise, you're on a infested cruise ship. You do at times have to worry about your ammo count. You know, it isn't Resident Evil 7 type horror experience, but it's like you do still have to worry, you know. Let's be I forgot I did get some new machines and their price isn't set to 50 cents. That one is actually. But aside from that, it didn't even do anything special. But the reason that I love it is because it got me into the series. If it weren't for Revelations, I wouldn't even be a fan of Resident Evil. And Revelations was for a long time my most played, like, and it probably still is my most played 3DS game. But you know, now, being that I'm playing more, even more on my home consoles, it definitely isn't my most played anymore. But it's still got that special place in my heart, and that's a lot of people probably view like Resident Evil 4 that way. Which, in all fairness, again, I can't blame them. You know, RE4. I enjoy the entire series, or I can't say the entire series because I haven't played the entire catalog of Resident Evil. You know, there are some entries that I haven't touched yet, but there are like out of like the main games. Let's just say the main 8. Sorry, 9. 0 to 8. I'm not even going to count any of the side games. If someone says any one of those is their favorite, I can see a reason for it. I can see it, you know. There's only one that I'm like, maybe you need to play the others. And that's 8. And it's not even that 8 is bad. Like, 8 is still a good, and it's a fun game, you know. But, at least in my opinion, everything 8 does, there's another entry that did it better. You know what I mean? And, you know, if someone's like, hey, 8 is my favorite because it was the first I played, I could be like, okay, that's understandable, you know. I'm not even gonna argue it. I'm gonna be like, it's not my favorite. I don't like it that much. Like, I do enjoy it, but I don't like it that much. But, you know, I'm not gonna argue against it because, you know, they're not. It's not like they're acting like that. There's an objective reason why it deserves to be in the #1 spot. Like, if tongue-tied. Like, if you are putting a game in your #1 spot because it either got you into the series or you grew up with it, if that's the reason, that's fine. Like, I think everyone has that entry of a specific series on their whatever list because it got them into the series, or they grew up with it. You know, Lego Batman is my favorite Batman game because I grew up with it. And I'm not talking Lego Batman 2, I mean #1. But I'm not going to sit there and pretend like there are objective reasons why it deserves to be #1. You know, I'm completely honest about it. And if you're completely honest about that being your reasoning for whatever entry, that's fine. But I hate it when people are like, oh, this entry is #1 and you can't argue it or whatever. And it's like, bro, the entry ain't even that good. Like, it's fun, but dog, you're painting it like it's the fucking Mona Lisa and every other entry is a kindergarten drawing. And there's one entry that I feel like gets that treatment. And I didn't even mention which entry it is, and those who are big into the Resident Evil community probably already know which one it is, and either they see what I'm saying or they're offended by it, or they just don't care. But it is Resident Evil 4. And I'm talking like the original. I mean, I don't think remake gets that heavy of glazing, but people hail Resident Evil 4 as if it's definitively the best in the series and no one can argue it. No one can have a different opinion about it. Like, and like I said, if that's your favorite in the series, that's fine. You know, like I said, I can see an argument being made for just about any mainline entry. But, you know, don't sit there and pretend like that's the only right answer, you know what I mean? Like, And if you are saying it's the best because of nostalgia or it got you into the series, then at least be honest about it. And of course, no hate at all. Like, I don't want to come off as some asshole, you know what I mean? But that's just like how I feel about that situation. And I remember sitting there specifically. The reason why I feel so strongly about this is because there was one time I was talking with someone else about like my favorite entries or my rankings of the Resident Evil games, and RE4 did not rank that high. And someone sat there and said that I clearly didn't play the game. And I was like, dog, I did play the game. I only ranked the ones that I have played, because at the time, I only ranked from 4 on, basically the shooter style, rather than the fixed camera angle style games. I only ranked the games that I played. I was like, dog, if I hadn't played it, it wouldn't have been included. In fact, I excluded RE4 Remake, or I'm not even sure if RE4 Remake was out at the time. No, I think it was, but I was waiting to get to the point in the Twitch stream where I was streaming the series to play it, but I wound up losing patience because I'm streaming the series with a friend, and he, for like a year or something, he was like, man, I don't want to play it. Let's play something else. So we are just now at Code Veronica, but they were like, oh, you clearly didn't play RE4. I was like, dog, I lost count of how many times I played RE4 on my quest alone. On my quest, it's probably my most played game. I was like, you can't tell me that I haven't played it when I've easily played this more than 10 times. I've lost count after 10. And I was like, and I sat there and was like, I ain't saying it's a bad game. I thoroughly enjoyed all of the games. The only, out of like all the Resident Evil games that I played, and I'm not counting the multiplayer ones like freaking Umbrella Corp or Umbrella Corps, which I have played, but things of that nature I didn't even include because they're not worth including in the ranking. But out of the ones I've played outside of the multiplayer ones, 4 was the second lowest. And I get that 4 was revolutionary, as well as very beloved. But I prefer the more tense and horror-orientated Resident Evil games. And I am very I am very, I don't want to say open about it, but like I am very vocal about that. Like I will praise the shit out of 7, at least the beginning half, as well as I love Resident Evil 2. I played that a ton. And I mean a ton. But they were like, come on, man, you put 5 and 6 above 4. I was like, yeah, because for me, I kind of like see 4, 5, and 6 as like similar, like they're on similar levels on their own. However, because of the co-op, I put 5 and 6 above 4. And to me, 5 and 6 are like interchangeable on my rankings. Because while 5 has far less bloated and convoluted story. It doesn't have that fun of combat mechanics, but 6 has hella fun combat mechanics, but its story is bloated as all hell. And you know, it's all over the place. But it's fun. You know. Alright, we just bought a new track. Let's listen to it. That's fucked. I didn't even tell it to go down. But legit, there have been people to straight tell me that if 4 isn't my favorite, then I'm not a real fan of the series. And it's like, what? That's like telling an OG. Like, if you were to say that to someone who was a fan since the original game came out, like, I think everyone would look at that person like they were absolutely insane to say something like that. But because, you know, I'm not that old, I'm not, you know, I wasn't there since day one, a lot of people are just like in agreement with that, and it's like, that doesn't even make sense. And after playing, you know, Resident Evil 1 Remake, as well as Resident Evil 0, and I am currently playing through Code Veronica. I can honestly say I'm not a fan of the fixed camera angle games. And it's not even nothing against the games or anything. I just, you know, I don't like that style of game because it feels like I have to fight the controls and the camera angles more than I do anything else. You know, it feels like in 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, Revelations 2, literally every other entry. The enemies are the monsters and the terrorists who unleash the viruses. In the fixed camera angle games, for me, it feels like the real enemy is the controls and the cameras, because I wind up struggling with that more than anything else in the game. Line terror has broken down. Okay. And it's not even the fact that I don't like the games. Like, at least with 0 and 1, I do like it. I don't really like Code Veronica, honestly. But with 0 and 1, I actually do enjoy the game. I just don't like playing it. And that might just be a me thing, you know. But I hate having to play a game where it feels like I'm fighting the controls, let alone fighting the controls more than the monsters. Like, if they remade, or if they did a modern remake of 0 in the style of Resident Evil 2 remake, as well as did a second remake of 1 in the same style, I feel like I would love them way more. They might even find themselves at the top of the list, honestly, especially if 0 added co-op. I mean, I know co-op has the tendency to make a horror game not a horror game, but they did manage to do co-op in a horror game without it feeling like it's not a horror game. Of course, this was on the PS2, and you know, online co-op wasn't exactly all that good back then, but they did it. It still felt like a horror game. So if they could hit that gold again with a Resident Evil 0 remake, I feel like that might find its way at the top of my Resident Evil list. Just like within the top 3. Nothing can top Revelations for me, because you know, that's nostalgia speaking. That's what got me into the series. Okay, business is closing. Let's go ahead and collect the monies. But I feel like if they did a 0 remake with co-op and it felt like a horror game, easily top 3. Specifically if they didn't remove, or I don't want to say didn't remove content, but if they kept that same feeling of the original 0, just with modern controls and shit. Like, if they did that, 0 could be fantastic. I know, as far as like the fixed camera angle games, 0 is kind of on everyone's shit list because of the removal of the item box, but you know, I mean, if they remade it, they could easily just put an item box in there. And that was the biggest complaint for a lot of people, which I agree with, honestly. But a remake of 0 could go so hard. And honestly, I would love to see the Spencer Mansion 100% on my PS5 with like RE4's graphics. That would just be... that would be fantastic. Ugh. Arcade Mania. Do I have all the arcades? Sold, 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 sold. That one is coming tomorrow. Yep, I got everything. So, once that arcade comes in, I'll have the ability to change the sign. Because we definitely don't wash clothes anymore. Okay, give me a sec so that way I can grab another drink, as well as kind of try to get rid of some of the stuffiness. Okay. I have returned. I definitely I can definitely tell I sound better. What's up, man? How are you doing? Okay, I should be able to... That's probably the message from my sister telling me that I can replace the sign. We're going to clean this place up before we answer the messages. Like number 1 or number 2? I mean, really, you can't go wrong with either, but... Oh, nice. That's still in my wish list, honestly. Because I do need to get it at some point because I'm going to be streaming through the entire series, all 3 games, on my Twitch at some point. But I just haven't gotten it. But I know it is a good series. Okay. So you've had it for like a year. What's funny is I've had mine since at least 2020, my Red Dead Redemption 2, but I never played it. Literally as soon as I got it, my brother started playing it and beat it, and then like I had just gotten it and I was like, well, that fucking ruins it for me. Cause like I was like, I didn't even get to play my own game. So I really haven't even touched it. Yeah, from what I've heard, it's really slow starting out. But I also heard it's really good, and I have seen like clips of it, you know. So it's clearly a good game. I just never sat down and played it. But I have the first game as well as Red Dead Redemption 2, but I don't have Red Dead Redemption 1. Yeah, I know. I can't even imagine how long it would take to platinum it. But yeah, I have 2 of the games in the series. I just don't have the second game in the series, which is the first Redemption game. That's over here, isn't it? Yes.
Infestation annihilated.
Oh, I know. It sucks because that, out of like the main games, that's the only one that never got a remaster. And it's my favorite in the series, so it's like, god damn, you know? Yeah, there are so many games that could use some remasters. Or remakes. I was actually just talking about if, like, how cool it would be if Capcom decided to remake Resident Evil 1 again and Resident Evil 0. But if, I swear that WB just wants to pretend Origins doesn't exist. But it sucks because Origins is just so fucking good. GTA 4, well, they don't want to remaster it because they're too busy milking GTA 5 for every cent they can get out of it. And the PS3 Spider-Man games, well, they'll never get remasters because, well, I can't say never because there is a possibility. Only issue is, well, yes and no. They didn't remaster Red Dead Redemption 1. It was a port. It's literally the exact same as the PS3 and 360 version, except runs at 60 FPS. So it's not a remaster. But honestly, with GTA 4, I'll take a re-release. Honestly, I'll take a port. Just don't charge $40 fucking for it. But honestly, even if they did charge $40 for GTA 4, I'd buy it. I'm not even gonna lie, because 4 is my favorite in the series. I love its story so much. Why do I feel like there's something missing? We should take a look at our daily challenges. Ooh. That's crazy.
Zombie.
I forgot that it was $50, not $40. But either way, that is too much for a simple port. Like, if it were a remaster, honestly, I still think it would be too much. But, like, I'd say 40 would be a good price for a remaster. But 50 for a port? That's ridiculous. And I know that a lot of work can go into porting a game, but, you know, it's literally the same version that came out on PS3. So why would I pay $50 for a PS3 game when I can just pop in the PS3 disc? I mean, it's possible. I mean, there was a lot of cut content from Spider-Man 2, especially regarding Venom. They might be planning a Venom game. And if that's the case, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. But, unfortunately, you know, no news on it. But whatever Insomniac is cooking is going to be good. Insomniac doesn't really miss a whole lot. And I don't want to say doesn't miss at all, because, you know, I feel like there were a couple of missteps in Spider-Man 2. I don't know. Okay, so this does have some sort of assist. It just feels dumb as hell. Ooh. You fuckers will never take me alive. Okay, okay. I'll let you take me alive. Just... Why are you firing it that way? Thank you. Oh, I hate that the coins disappear. Okay, so the original release of Red Dead did have online, or the original release of Red Dead 1 did have online. However, the port that you bought on a PS4, it does not. So you can platinum it. Ooh. No, 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 fuck off, fuck off. No, ah! I got caught in a tree. But yes, if you want to platinum it, you won't have to worry about any of the online trophies. The only way you'll have to worry about online trophies is if you try to platinum the PS3 version, which I'm not even sure if it had online trophies, because I know at the time of, you know, the PS3 releases, online didn't come out until a little later with their games. Like, GTA 5 online had to wait like a year before it came out. And Red Dead Online, I believe, had to wait a few months. How many bullets did I fire? Oh, damn. Yeah, trophies weren't a thing until the PS3. Because trophies were a PlayStation Network thing. The PlayStation Network really wasn't established until like the PSP. I believe it was the PSP that came out first. But it wasn't established until, you know, after the PS2. In fact, that's part of why PS2 online gaming sucked. Why are you... I like how last game I was trying to aim at a zombie and it decided to aim at the barrel. This time I'm trying to aim at the barrel and it wants to shoot a zombie. Oh, fuck. I am doomed. That's why, like, if you had consoles in the early 2000s, if you were interested in online gaming, people got... Oh, fuck. That one came out of nowhere. That's why people, if you were interested in online gaming, you bought an Xbox. If you were interested in basically anything else outside of online gaming, you had a PS2. Honestly, I would enjoy if it did. However, I don't think it will. And part of the reason I say this is because we're kind of out of the era where a bunch of like wacky thrown in multiplayer games are included with games. Like with the PS3 generation, just about every game that released had its own like multiplayer mode. But that doesn't really happen anymore. Okay. 15,000? We can do this in a couple days. But honestly, I do hope that they add like a 4-player Spider-Man co-op or whatever. Even and put some missions in it. I mean, it's possible, especially with some of the news that was coming out. Like, there were some leaks that Xbox was going to try to skip past this generation and just release the next Xbox rather than like PlayStation or like companies usually do and release a revision of their console. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if that would be the best move for Xbox, because right now Xbox is not doing well at all. Like, you know that your console is fucked when a accessory for the competitor is outselling your whole console. I mean, it's been 4 years. Usually a console generation lasts around like 6 years. So we probably have a couple more years left with the PS5. It doesn't feel like as long because of COVID stunting, manufacturing. So that caused supply issues, even worse than normal. And on top of that, we had issues of, being that hardly anyone could get a PS5. A lot of the games that were meant to be PS5 exclusive wound up releasing on the PS4 as well. So all this it makes it feel like it wasn't that long. And like, if you were to ask me how long the PS5 was out, if I were just going on how long it feels like it's been out, I'd have said a couple of years. But it's been 4 years. Come November, it will officially be 4 years. I believe November 12th. But the PS5 and Xbox, respectively, both had a lot of issues at the beginning of the launch because of, the virus that was spreading. And... oh, fuck. That's not what I meant to... But yeah, if this console generation ends within the next couple of years, that would be pretty normal. What isn't normal is how the console generation started. Could they drag out this console generation a little longer? Yeah, they could. Okay. No. So, for example, the lifespan I'd say Mafia 1 because you've already started that, you've already got several trophies. Might as well, finish that out before you move on to the next game. But the PS4 generation, and I say PS4 generation, I should say the PS4's lifespan because I'm not talking about the Xbox. The PS4's lifespan was about 7 years before the PS5 came out. It launched in 2013, and then the PS5 came out in 2020. The Xbox had a similar lifespan. So they lasted quite a while. I think the longest console lifespan would be something that would have been considered like timeless. And the only console that I can think of that lasted longer than the average console lifespan, before having a revision or not a revision, but a replacement released, would be something like the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. Because it went so long without having a replacement. And its only real replacement was the Game Boy Advance. That would have been the longest lifespan for a console. And I know a lot of people wouldn't consider something like the Game Boy to be a console, but it's literally called a handheld console, so it's not a home console, but it does count. Through technicality. But nonetheless, that thing would have had, I think that would have had the longest lifespan of any system. Honestly, I can't even say because I haven't played Red Dead Redemption for myself, so I really can't have an opinion on that. You know, that would be like me. That would be like, I don't even know how to compare it, but being that I haven't sat down and played Red RDR2 for myself, you know, I can't, you know, I can't judge it because, you know, it's not like I played it. At that point, it would be just passing judgment on something that, it would be like hating on something when I've never played it, you know? And I say that, not that I'm hating on it, but the fact that I'd be passing judgment on it without even giving it a chance. Now, I can definitely say which game I think is better in the freaking GTA series, but not between any of the Red Dead games or GTA, because, you know, I haven't played any of the Red Dead games. Wow, it's still early. We're definitely going to be earning that 15,000 today. But honestly, just going based off of what I've seen, I think I'd say Red Dead, because honestly, I think GTA 5 is just overhyped. People praise it, in my opinion, people praise it like it's the second coming of Christ when it's literally just a hamburger. Now, if they want a filet mignon, grab GTA 4 or San Andreas, because those two, fantastic entries. But for me personally, GTA 5, it isn't even that good.
It's a God! Traitors crucified!
Okay, that is an unfair comparison, because GTA 6 isn't even out yet. All I'll say about GTA 6 is I think this would wind up being make or break for Rockstar, because they've put a ton of money into it. But if they fumble, and I'm not saying it will, I'm saying, like, they have to meet at least reasonable expectations. For me personally, the best GTA game ever has to be Grand Theft Auto 4. It took many of the RPG aspects that were great in San Andreas and applied it. It did remove some of them, but it kept like the dating and stuff like that. It kept the clothing, you know. I don't know if it kept the car customization. I think that might have been replaced. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been on GTA 4. But it had a fantastic story. For the time, its physics were super advanced, and in some cases, in certain areas, its physics are better than GTA 5's physics. It has amazing detail. Its city is... It's a great city. You know, I love exploring it. And it goes with a darker tone, which, to be fair, a lot of games did at the time, especially with the more grayed color palette. But GTA 4 still feels really good and really fucking engaging to play today. And I say that because I didn't even play GTA 4 until like 2021 or 2020, something along those lines. Like it was anywhere between 2019 and 2021. But GTA 4 still feels satisfying to play. Okay, even if this is gonna be super controversial, but even if GTA 6 winds up being a steaming pile of hot dog shit, I think it'll still be better than GTA 5. Because for me, GTA 5 it is so... it's mid. Okay, GTA 6 or GTA 6, this is such a hard comparison. Man, why you gotta ask me hard questions, man? I think I'm gonna go with... oh, man. I can't even pick, man. I can't even pick. Woodgal Jr. Man. That's Woodgal's adventure. Oh. I mean, that's got to be the right answer. Okay, so I've got a question for you. GTA 4 or GTA Vice City? Oh. Damn it. I thought I... damn it. Okay, I got 20 there. But yeah, GTA 4 or Vice City. Both of them are hella good. Damn it. I mean, Vice City has a much better looking environment. And, well, not better looking, but more style to it. I think out of all the GTA cities, Vice City is the best. Like, if someone gave me the choice of going on vacation in San Andreas or going to Vice City, I'm flying to Vice City.
Buckhards! Infestation annihilated.
Hey, how are you doing? Been a little bit. You working on any new books? Ah! What are you excited for? Tell me, tell me, tell me. You excited for the Silent Hill remake? I know I am. I haven't pre-ordered it, I considered it though. Oh, nice! That's cool. Honestly, I haven't seen a whole lot of marketing for Silent Hill remake, but I knew about it because I've been like, I don't want to say keeping up with it, but I have kind of. Okay. GTA 5, Spider-Man 2, GTA 6, or the Batman Arkham games. I'm going to say the Batman Arkham games. Because we're talking about 4 main games versus a couple of other games. So, I feel like the 4 games beat out the others. And Origins is one of my favorite games ever, so. Honestly, as soon as it was announced that Silent Hill 2 was being remade, I was both excited and disappointed. And yeah, I was keeping up with it, but I can't wait for it to officially be released. Excuse me. I am both excited and scared for its release. Not because it's a horror game, but because it's Konami. Ever since, I believe, Hiro Kojima left, Konami's kind of been fucking shit up. I mean, they still make good games, but fucking Metal Gear hasn't been the same, and they've been practically shitting on Silent Hill since Kojima left. So I'm hoping that the Silent Hill 2 remake is gonna be good, but honestly, I actually disagree with that. And the reason is because, like, obviously they're not the same anymore. But I feel like they can be more scary with better graphics. Like, RE2 Remake, for me, feels more terrifying to play than the original. Bro, if they remaster Arkham Origins, hell, if they port Arkham Origins, I am pre-ordering it. Yeah, no, I definitely, like, I'm not sitting there, like, hating on your opinion. I'm just like, I can see it, but I just disagree with it. You know what I'm saying? But for me, there was nothing more cheek clenching than hearing Mr. X's footsteps in the RPD the first time I had played it. All I will say is that remakes can be hella good if they're done right and respectfully. Like RE3 remake, that was not a good remake. I enjoy it. I love playing it, but it feels like it was such a misstep, and I think they cut too much content without putting something in its place. I do apologize that I sound horrible and that I'm sniffling. I'm feeling kind of stuffy. But, I mean, to be fair, they could do that with the remake. I think they'd have to go more heavy into the fog, which is part of what happened with the original. They went heavy with the fog to make it harder to see. And on top of that, it did help with the limited hardware. But, you know, it does look like they're doing that with the remake. You see, I would do that, but I don't like tea. So, I'll probably just deal with it. Ooh, okay, Gary. So, Silent Hill is like a legendary freaking psychological horror game. It started out on the PS1, and it had a sequel on the PS2 that was just like, it blew people away. That's why they're remaking the second one rather than the first one, which I completely disagree with, but it was a legendary psychological horror series. Yeah. Honestly, okay, when you say RE4 is was a disappointment, are you referring to RE4 remake or RE4 OG? Okay. You want to hear my opinion? I completely agree. That's probably not what you were expecting, but I feel like RE4, and this could apply to the remake as well, but I do enjoy the remake more than I do the original. It feels like it was such a massive departure, and after watching some videos about its making and its history, it was a friggin' it was a departure because, okay, so Gary, with the original RE4, there's actually no platinum for it. Well, to be fair, I say original, but even with the remaster that was released on PS3, PS4, Switch, you know, the HD version, it doesn't have a platinum. It has gold, silver, and bronze trophies, but no platinum. The remake has a platinum. And it's not a super hard game to platinum, but it does have some challenge to it. Honestly, it's not even the change in enemies. So what had happened was the creator of Resident Evil actually didn't like making Resident Evil games. And with the success of Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, Capcom was like, okay, we need more of this. But we'll let you do what you'd like with RE4. So he was like, yes! And turned it into an action game, because that's what he wanted to make. Yeah, it was on PS2, but it originally released on the GameCube and was released on PS2 later. But it did have a remaster which had trophies, but unfortunately no platinum, which is strange. They could have gave it a platinum, but they didn't. Yeah, the zombies need rotting flesh, and I love the detail they put into the zombies in RE2 and 3 remake. That detail is just, oh. Well, in RE4 it was a parasite controlling them, not a virus. It was a massive departure in just about every way, really. But what got me was this complete 180 switch from horror survival, and even the original 3 released with, like, it was still very action orientated, but it still, retained some of that horror survival. RE4 completely dropped that in favor of action. No, you're good.
You make valid points, Ashley. As you should be. In business, you must be decisive and... I'm ruining this. When I sold my third company, I looked up and discovered everything else in my life had vanished. My entire family were strangers to me. I hadn't even noticed. Your mother said that I valued money and status above all else. Maybe she was right. In her whole life, Loretta only truly loved two things. You and your sister. Watching you two together, she said, was paradise. Whatever name you decide, I'm proud of both of you. And fix the toilet.
Yeah, they did have the feature to hide Ashley in a dumpster in the original RE4. They gave you the feature to hide her in lockers and dumpsters, but in the remake, I don't remember them hiding her in dumpsters at all. But they did keep the feature to hide her. But to answer your question, the reason they don't have the feature to hide her very often is because they completely reworked her and her AI. And this is going to be an extremely unpopular opinion, but with Ashley, I actually prefer her in the original rather than the remake. I feel like her I feel like her AI in the remake is way dumber. At least in the original, when it came to her AI, that was mostly the player's fault if she died. You know, because she does exactly as you tell her to do. She'll stay by your side if you tell her to. She'll stay put if you tell her to. With RE4 Remake, you have two options. Either stay close or give me some space. And with give me some space, her only objective is to actually give you some space. But her AI isn't very smart. I have legit seen her die because when I told her to give me space, she didn't give me space behind me. She legit ran up to one of the enemies. She ran to her death. I have played RE4 OG. Like, I've emulated the PS2 copy. I have a PS2 copy. I have a GameCube copy as well, but I don't have a GameCube to play it on, so I will get one later, but I played it on Switch, PS4, and 10 plus times on Quest. I lost count after 10, but yeah, I wouldn't say I'm like an RE4 expert, but I've played it a ton. Yeah. I have never once, or I've actually had her do some stupid shit in the original, well, original / remasters. I wouldn't say an expert, because there are people who know more about RE4 than me, or RE in general, really. But I do know a lot. But, so like, the worst thing I have to worry about in the original version is her making the dumbass decision. Like, whenever you aim your gun in RE4, like, Ashley will just duck down, so that way she's out of your way. And using a sniper rifle, sometimes she'll just pop up in front of you rather than ducking down, or she'll duck down for a little bit and then pop up. I don't know why, but she does that sometimes, but even then it's a rarity. Whereas in RE4 Remake, her dumb decisions, it's so fucking common. It's because she's a fucking blonde. I mean, I'm not saying it's true, but might be. But honestly, I wish that in RE4 Remake, they gave me the ability to tell Ashley to stay the fuck put, rather than the only two options being stay close or give me some space. And I feel like Ashley is one of the few examples of what RE4 Remake got wrong. I think I'm going to stream for a little longer.
ain't the king of check. Babylon brain stuck on the track. Right on the course, revealing all that you lack. Here's a fact, rip through the illusion. You might find that clue inside confusion when you look at your life. Right, you weigh me down, my flight's overdue. And I'm so over you, the only truth is I'm the one who needs to choose. Which path I go, which life I make. If you wanna play the game with me, then make no mistake, boy. And I don't play nice. Ain't no second life. Leave you blinded by the light of the sight. Yeah, come on. We grew up the arcade paradise. And I don't play nice. Ain't no second life. Leave you blinded by the light of the sight. Yeah, come on. We grew up the arcade paradise. Yeah, I ain't a slave to your ground. I ain't contained within lies. I'll find my way in due time. I won't quit. No matter how bad the ocean gets, I'll sink my ship before I waste my life in your brick. Yeah, the raging flame within my hate for all you made and you create. I'll burn it all to stay fake. Catches up a match is struck to ignite. This empty lesson learned I'm gonna do with your life, right? And I don't play nice. Ain't no second life. Leave you blinded by the light of the sight. Yeah, come on. We grew up the arcade paradise. And I don't play nice. Ain't no second life. Leave you blinded by the light of the sight. Yeah, come on. We grew up the arcade paradise.
Okay. So, Gary, to answer your question, I assume you're talking about the platinum for RE4, but I've looked at the entire trophy list for the original as well as the remake, and I have not actually completed either. RE4 is on my platinum list, but I haven't gotten to that yet. Its trophies do look challenging, but not holy fuck, you're kicking my teeth in hard. RE4 Originals trophies, there's only one that I think would be worth worrying about, and that's completing the Delago fight without tipping the boat. But I opted out of the... I decided I wasn't going to sit there and collect all the trophies for the original because there was no platinum. Okay. So I have a question for you. Do you still like, do you ever just sit there and try to platinum a game, or do you just sit there and just play them for like the story, and then when you're done, you know, move on to the next game?
It's a bug hunt! Infestation annihilated.
And the reason why I'm asking is because me and Gary do talk about the platinums we're collecting or working on quite a bit. Okay, so you do try to get a few platinums. Okay. I was just a little curious about that. Look at that, though. 12 parts of this series has led to this. So what platinums do you have? Gary had, last I knew, he told me he was working on platinuming Mafia 1, but he just got Red Dead Redemption 1, and he's kind of considering going for that one. That one's platinum. He asked me which I think he should platinum first, and I told him I think he should finish up with Mafia 1. I'm not sure if he made a decision though. There we go. That sucks. If you can get a PS4, I've seen them go for pretty cheap. But if you have the chance to go for the PS5 rather than the PS4, I'd definitely do that. Because the PS5 can play PS4 games. But also, if you're wanting to, you know, have more options as to what you can platinum, definitely get a PS3 and a Vita. Oh, you may want to take that to a repair shop. Honestly, I'd take it to a repair shop because they'll sit there and be like, hey, this is the issue. Like, if they're like, the one I go to keeps me informed as to what's happening, you know, how much it would cost, like what they need to do, stuff like that. And so, like, they'll also be like, hey, if the part is too expensive or too rare or whatever, they'll be like, hey, you know, you're just better off getting a new system. You know, they'll be honest with me about that, which is part of the reason why I like going to them. But Okay. Well, I have a Pro, so unfortunately mine doesn't have any issues like that. But I mean, at that point, you could probably just look up a YouTube video on how to set it up and fix it yourself. Oh, okay. Damn. Well, basically any USB would work. You just it's just the files. You know, you'd have to configure it correctly. Because I decided to replace the internal hard drive on my PS3. So my PS3 came with like 256 gigabytes or something like that. I decided to put in a 1 terabyte. Well, exFAT is a file type. It's not a USB type. So you'd have to format it to be an exFAT. You know. And no, then they're telling you wrong. A USB is just a storage device. There's nothing really special about it. It's the files that are within it that are special. And say I have a USB, I can make it basically any format type I want. I can make it exFAT, I can make it freaking FAT32. You can make it whatever file type. It's the exFAT is just the file type that the PlayStation 4 and 3 use. I'm not sure if the PS5 uses it, but that's just the file type. Yes, that's where you get the files, but you need to format the USB drive to exFAT and then download the files. Okay, so USBs aren't very expensive. Like, I got a couple for like 10 bucks. And they're like 64 gigabyte. So what you do is you plug the USB into the computer. You have to use a special software, which you can sit there and be like, you can basically use any software that supports FAT32 or exFAT. Sit there and format the USB drive to exFAT, and then you download the files and make sure they're configured correctly, because you have to sit there and have the files in a specific folder name, which those instructions will be on the PlayStation website. But like I think the worst part is just converting it to exFAT, you know, formatting it correctly. And that's partly because Windows doesn't support exFAT. So you have to use a third-party software to do that. Damn. But yeah. So any USB will work. Any blank USB will work, I should say. You just have to format it correctly. Oh, damn. Okay, so we have one arcade space available. But no arcade to buy. But yeah, I had to do that with my PS3. I don't remember what software I used to convert or to format the USB, but yeah. But I had to do that when replacing the hard drive on my PS3. I don't remember the file type it used. I think it was exFAT. But nonetheless, it might have been FAT32, but you have to sit there and configure it. Which there are YouTube tutorials on how to do that. So you just gotta be able to find a good tutorial. And it's not like you need to open up the PS4 for that. So, at least it's something relatively easy. It isn't like you need to replace any components. If you did, then have fun with that, because the launch PS4s, the PS4 FATs, not fun to open. Those were the most annoying. But if you do want to replace, like, so for that, I believe you're replacing the boot files. If you are replacing the boot files, then that's a good opportunity to upgrade the internal hard drive as well. But if you're not replacing the boot files, then you're just, better off just... I'm not even... It sounds like you're replacing the boot files, but I'm not 100% sure. I know my friend was having an issue with his PS3, and he had to do... I think he had to do something similar. But... It was similar but different. You know what I mean? But at least fixing it's simple. Okay, so it is dinner time. I'm gonna sit there and I'm actually gonna call it here. We'll be on Fallout New Vegas in a little bit on Twitch. So hopefully I'll see you guys next week. But till then, have a fantastic day.